I'm back here in Calverton at the biggest 3D printed house in America done by SQ4D. As you can see from last time, they finished most of the exterior. Now they even have some planters in by the window. We're going to take a look inside and check out the progress that they've made. What's really cool about this house is the decisions they made for the printed walls. Some of the walls are left completely exposed, whereas others were covered in a flat material to make the house indistinguishable from a traditionally built home. Homes in this area generally sell for $450,000 to $600,000. So this home was priced below the average price point, showing that 3D printing can yield some savings. $360,000 might be much more expensive than the $4,000 or $10,000 3D printed house you may have heard of, but this is New York, not Russia or the middle of the country, so real estate and land is expensive around here.
A lot has changed since we were last here. Steven, the listing agent on the SQ4D house, is going to give us a tour of the building. Many parts of the house have been smoothed out with mortar so that you can't see the printed layers. A lot of people like the layers, a lot of people don't. So it's nice that for this demo unit they were able to clearly demonstrate how it looks in both cases.
I kind of do a walkthrough, yeah. My name is Stephen King. I am an associate broker with Realty Connect USA here on Long Island. I work on Suffolk County, New York, and I am the listing agent for 34 Millbrook Lane, which is the first 3D printed home to be sold on the public market or on an MLS in the country with a C above. That's me. All right, so this is a 3D printed home. This was built as a sample for the town of Riverhead to come in and sign off on. Over here shows you how the technology works. Basically, the machine is assembled on site, comes in and prints out layer by layer by layer of almost 2 inches thick concrete. A buyer has an option. They can do a stucco finish. They can leave it bare and natural. You can mix and match. This is an upcharge. This is not.
This angled wall here is kind of a central feature of the building, demonstrating the freedom of form allowed when using a 3D printer rather than traditional construction methods or concrete formwork.
It's good to note that this structure is printed in about 48 hours of print time, which is spread out over maybe a week or so. So they'll print out a couple of layers, go up maybe a couple of feet, then they like to let it rest and curate or dry for a couple of days, and then they come in, print more, rest, curate, print more. So within 48 hours of print time and roughly a week, you will have your full standing structure, and then they come in and put a separate roof on. That's where your wood framing is all done. And usually within about a month and a half, you know, because then we need our tradesmen to come in. We need them to come in and finish our kitchens, do appliance installs, do electrical, do plumbing, do insulation. Again, the roofing, painting, molding, flooring, bathrooms, tiles, everything. So once you wrap all of that together, you can usually have a finished product in about a month and a half to 2 months, depending on, you know, your tradesmen.
A model like this might take a few hours to print, but this house, like Stefan said, took 48 hours of print time spread out over the course of over a week. Many people have asked about the interior structure of these walls, and this is actually exactly what they look like. So gaps have been made, and some of these will be filled with concrete and rebar to give a traditionally reinforced column that an engineer could sign off on and fully understand how strong it is after sending in a testing sample. The corrugated nature yields additional strength without needing to fill the material like you would with regular concrete forms. Using this method with concrete is especially impactful because concrete's so heavy. So if you can reduce the concrete you need for a project by 40%, that will yield immense cost savings.
So this is the first bedroom, and a lot of people, we get a lot of questions about what flooring is this. This is an epoxy, which is almost like it's poured in and then designed, and it looks like it's almost marble, but it's an epoxy. So this is an example of, if you wanted traditional stucco walls with an accent wall over here, that shows the story of the machine and the build, you can do that. And then over here, what I like to point out is you're going to notice that there's some variation in this wall. When this home was built, they were experimenting with different types of nozzles, different types of finishes. So that's the reason why there's so much variation in finish on this wall. The home on 34 Millbrook will not have this level of variation. It's going to be more clean cut and precise. Full bathroom. In 34 Millbrook, you will have a full bathroom here and also a full bathroom on the other side of this wall that would connect into the master, which brings us in through here. Yes, your closets are concrete. It's perfect for hanging shelving. A lot of questions we get is, can you drill into this concrete? And absolutely. The way it's designed is you would have no problem drilling into this with concrete screws. So you can hang your pictures, hang whatever you'd like, almost the same way as drywall, but you're using concrete screws. So there's that, and then you have your third bedroom in here, which will, 34 Millbrook will have a very similar design layout to this. You have your electric panel in here. That's just for this model. And that should be it.
Initially, all they had was these plastic 3D printed models, but now they've made this floor plan reality. You can see right here we're in the garage. Before we were in the main area with the kitchen, and then the 3 bedrooms and bathroom. SQ4D took a risk building this unit. They didn't know if the town was going to accept or deny their construction methods or permits in the future, but they knew that if they built this on industrial land, it would be much easier to convince them when there was something concrete for them to go and feel, see with their own hands and eyes.
The difficulty was finding a town or a municipality, or city or village that would issue a C of O on such a brand new technology. Now, we went around when this was still, the machine was still being built, we were going around from town to town to find a municipality that was going to sign off on something like this. And eventually, we had a meeting with the town of Riverhead. They were completely on board, extremely accommodating. And again, this was built for them to come in and make sure they can sign off on it. When municipalities are issuing COs, they have inspection processes. So usually they come in and they inspect, the grounds initially, then when the hole is done, then when the foundation's poured, then once the framing is done. So their process is to inspect a home through certain stages of it being built. They don't have inspection processes to inspect a home that's being printed out in 48 hours. So we had to find a municipality that was going to be accommodating and work with us on an inspection process that could accommodate a 48-hour print time, and the town of Riverhead was welcoming, and that's the story.
Take a closer look at this 3D printed wall here. This is the exterior of the building, so it's exposed to weathering, rain, and whatever else New York wants to throw at it. Many of these layers are pretty clean and symmetrical, but as you can see at the top here and then also down here, this is from something scraping across while the concrete wasn't fully cured yet. You need to be careful during the build because while the concrete's wet, anything you do to touch it or move it is going to end up permanent. This corner up here looks pretty good. You can see a little bit of the fibers that are left over maybe from the paint. I don't know. The paint feels pretty chalky. I believe this paint has a little bit of an elastic property. If any non-structural cracks happen in the concrete, which is common, concrete always cracks. It's more of a matter of when. Most of these cracks are microfractures that don't actually affect the structural integrity of the building. This paint should cover those microfractures by being a little bit elastic. Although these layers may look separate, they're actually completely connected in a monolithic structure because the wet layers completely attach to one another. They built this house in a concrete plant. It's never going to be residentially zoned, and I doubt anyone will ever live here. It was really just meant as a test unit so that SQ4D could show the world what they're capable of. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe. A lot of people don't know this, but for every like, YouTube will actually show the video to 10 more people. So by just doing a simple click, you can really help me grow this channel. And as the channel grows, I get more and more opportunities to bring even better content to you. By the time this video is out, I'll be on a flight to Copenhagen to go meet with a 3D printed construction company over there in Europe.
So if you have a plot of land and you want to reach out to SQ4D or you're looking to develop it, you can email info@sq4d.com. So right now SQ4D has a lot of inquiries from builders, from buyers, from landowners. Their response time, just be patient with them, as again, they have thousands of inquiries that they're trying to keep up with. This is still a growing company. So if you are interested, just send an email to them and just be patient with their responses. They're processing a lot of buyers, builders, and landowners.
Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in next week where I'll be coming at you from Copenhagen, Denmark. We should be able to see all kinds of cool things going on with the cutting edge construction methods they have over there.